Hi there, and in today's episode, I am going to be talking about implementation planning. Do you not even know what that is? And do you not know how to use this part of your sales process? Then keep watching. Implementation plans are one of my favourite ways of moving a sale along. And it's something that's especially helpful if you have a slightly more complex product. This is especially helpful when you are looking at something that you make the decision and get the signed agreement on today, but actually the customer doesn't receive until further down the line. Now, this could be a whole variety of things. A lot of the companies I work with are selling SaaS. So what that means is software as a service. It means that you buy the product and then there is an implementation period before the end users start to utilize that product. And that's because we need to make sure that the product is set up and personalized for that company. There might be a data migration, there might be training, and then off we go, we roll that out to our users. This is a brilliant tool because it gives you a way of moving a sale along. And the way you do it is by putting together an implementation plan as part of your sales process. What that actually does is it not only positions you as an expert because you know and understand what it's going to take to actually get that project live, but also it shows the timeline. A customer can't make the decision today and start using the product tomorrow. There's a gap in between those two things. And there's a plan that's required. This is going to involve your organisation and your client's organisation, and quite often multiple people across those organisations working together. So how can you use this? Well, one of the questions that I like to ask is when you're looking for this to go live. The great thing about this is that then as soon as I get a date, I can start to say, brilliant. Well, let's look at what implementation on that might look like so we can work out how we can deliver that for you. At that point in time, I whip out my implementation time and I work backwards. So let's say someone wanted to start using the product in February. They might think they've got all the time in the world. So I'm going to say, great. So if you're going to start to use that on the 1st of February, 2 weeks before that, we need to make sure we're training your teams. So straight away, we're back to the middle of January. Prior to that, what we're going to have to do is customize the product. Now that's actually going to have a 4-week window. But we've got Christmas in the middle of that. So realistically, we probably need to leave at least an extra week there. So that takes us to 5 weeks. Really, that's pretty much the first week in December. And then before that, we're going to need to take the data from your existing system and move that into the new system. We'll do one big drag then and one just before you go live. But the big work is going to need to be done at that early stage. That's going to take us at least 4 weeks of working with your teams to make sure we get that data moved across and the product ready to be personalized. So that's a 4-week period. We're now at the first week in November. In advance of that, we need to make sure we have all your brand assets so we can brand everything up for you. And we need to create a client portal in which we can work together, as well as making contact with all the key players in your organization who we will be working with. So let's give us an additional 2 weeks to make sure we can do a really good job on that. Actually, Mr. Customer, you know what? If we want that live day, we need to get this contract signed right now, because actually here we are at the beginning of October, and you know what? If we don't get this done now, we're not going to be able to deliver for that ultimate end date. This is what people don't realize, you see. People think that they can make the decision and go live, ding, and we are done. But you know better. You are an expert. You know what it takes to do an amazing job. So this is a fantastic way of not only showing yourself to be an expert, not only putting your prospect's mind at rest about actually the fact that you know the steps it's going to take and you have a plan around that, but also using it to drive that signature on your sale today. If you're not using implementation plans, you should really think about how they could work for your business. Because whether you're selling software or any other product or service, there's quite often the same sort of thing. If you're going to have a website, what's the go live date for the website? How long do you need to scope and design that? If you're going to deliver training, how long in advance of that do you need to do the research and actually put together that training content and interact with the relevant people that you're going to be dealing with at your client site? So think about these things. What might an implementation plan in your business look like? I'd love to hear if you're using these already, and I'd also love to hear about your success. So drop me a comment. And until next time, just remember to be Buzztastic.